get started here in just a minute. I hope you can hear me and I hope you can see me okay. I hope everyone is able to stay warm. It's cold here in Kansas, but not as cold as it has been, so I'm very thankful for that. Okay. So, hi, it's me, Kiellie, the Unsupervised Junk Gypsy here in Wichita, Kansas, and I am going to just demonstrate the basics of decoupage today using Miss Lillian's luster, which I like so much better than any of the glue-based decoupage products that they have out on the market that you typically would use for decoupage. I don't like them at all, so I don't use them. Especially after I discovered that I could use this instead. I love it a lot. And I find it to be a lot easier to use as well. Hi, Beth. My dogs are in the living room with me, and so I might have to yell at them in a minute because they're trying to wrestle. If it's not dogs, it's kids, but they went back to school today for the first time this week. So, if you are just getting tuned in, we're going to start our live with the decoupaging. It's going to be pretty basic so that you know that you can use the luster and that it's actually a lot easier than glue-based products. So you don't really need anything special, but I do suggest a really good pair of scissors. You need good scissors for decoupage because you've got to cut the stuff out. So a really good pair of small detail scissors is really the only thing you need aside from your luster. And got my luster. And I use one of these to open because I'm weak. Okay. We are going to pour our luster into a separate container so we don't contaminate the whole jar. I actually found these little things in the home organization section at Target, and I think it was like $2 for 4 of them, and they're silicone. They're really, really nice and very handy to have. So we're just going to pour our luster right into there. We don't need to do anything else to it. We don't need to thin it out, which is nice. The less steps, the better. I'm going to use lackluster. I have used satin and I have used semi-gloss. I haven't used high gloss because I don't generally use a lot of ultra gloss. This Pinewood Derby car I actually decoupaged with the semi-gloss, and then I use the semi-gloss again as the top coat. So you can, if that's what you happen to have on hand, you can use the semi-gloss or the satin or the lackluster. You can also, if you use the lackluster as your medium, you can then top coat it with any of the other sheens that you would like. It doesn't have to be the same sheen to top coat with as you used to decoupage with. So one of the big things that happens a lot when you use like a glue-based product when you decoupage, after you top coat, you get bubbles. That's because the water in that polyacrylic reactivates the glue and then you end up with bubbles. So I decoupaged this on yesterday, and I'm hoping that I get some bubbles in it right now when I put the top coat on, and I'll tell you why. In just a second, let me move you so you can see what I'm doing. My husband used my stand, and so I had to really fix all of it. Okay, so here's our cute, sweet little ducks, because I am ready. I'm ready for Easter. And you don't need a special brush either, so I'm just going to use my old chippy brush from Miss Lillian's, which I'm also going to spritz with some water real fast. Okay, so I'm just going to top coat this whole thing. And I'm going to hope that some of it bubbles up. Because unlike when you use glue, it's not a big deal at all. And if I do get some bubbles, I'm going to do absolutely nothing about it. That's right. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let those bubbles smooth out on their own as it dries. That luster is going to pull the paper and make it nice and tight. And you're not going to see that bubble after it's dried. It's going to be nice and smooth and tight, and it's wonderful. You don't need to worry about it because we're using the same product that we decoupaged with as the top coat, so they're not going to reactivate anything, and that luster self-levels and pulls itself as it dries. I did miss a spot there. So it's going to pull this paper nice and tight. And I don't see really, there's a few tiny little bubbles, like right here in the center. And we're not going to do anything about that. We're just going to let it dry. And once it's dry, you're not going to see that at all. It's not going to be a big deal. We're going to let this dry, and here in a little bit, I'll come back to it, and we're going to use the sparkle mixed in with our luster, and we're going to put it on some of our Easter eggs to give them a little bit of shiny bling bling. Yay! I love it! So this is just a plain tile. I haven't done anything to it. You can use the Uncle Jeff's Original Swamp Mud on this to make sure that whatever you put on top of it is going to stay really, really well. But I'm going to show you how to use a napkin for decoupage. And the only napkins I could find were my Halloween napkins. So that is what we're going to use. So here's my Halloween napkin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull apart the napkin because we don't want all those layers. This one I think was just a double layer. Sometimes they're triple layers. So I'm going to pull that apart. Okay, so we only want the piece that has our stuff on it. Okay, and we're going to put this on here using the luster. I'm going to spritz this slightly. And then, because it's tissue, and I have a habit of tearing tissue when I try to put luster on it, I'm going to put my luster on this. And then I'm going to take my little napkin here, put it over. And I'm going to very lightly smooth it down. Kind of like I'm playing a piano, just nice and light. Now I know that there is a method called the iron method. And let's be honest, I don't want to iron anything unless I absolutely have to. Because I don't really like to iron. And I have found that when I use the lusters, I don't have to worry about the ironing because it's going to go down smooth and those bubbles are not going to be a problem when it dries. So that is this on there. We're going to let it dry, and then I'll show you how I remove the paper. That tissue paper, I actually use my nail emery board, my nail file, because I have them on hand. So we will set that aside. So that's how we do the napkins. You want to make sure to separate those napkins so that you only have that top design. For paper, which my little guy just fell. So I did this yesterday. I just stamped some on. So this color is actually called Victorian Violets. And it is such a pretty spring color. I love it. I love, 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 love that one. Okay. I'm going to pull my hair back real fast because it is driving me bonkers. I don't know how people can do this stuff with their hair down all the time. Like, kudos to them. I can't do it. All right, so I'm going to put this bunny on here like this and make a cute little, I don't know, Easter picture. That'll be cute. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to take my bunny. I'm going to give him a bit of a spritz. I'm going to take our Decoupage luster. And I'm using a silicone mat because I'm not going to ruin it. And nothing's going to stick to it. So we're going to cover this whole bun picture with our luster, just like that. And we're going to be careful because he is wet. All right. Put him down here. I think that's where I want him. And then I'm going to carefully smooth him down. If I happen to have missed a spot, I can go back in with my luster. I missed a little bit right here, so I'm just going to do that. Put that down. There we go. Right there. All right. And now I'm actually going to smooth it out with some more of the luster that's on my brush. Like I said, you can go back over it to top coat it with any sheen that you would like. Try to get that little hair out of there. There we go. Okay, so see, there's a little bit of rippling right here. See, there's just a little bit of rippling. And I'm not going to worry about that because when this dries, it's going to be super tight. And it's going to be on there nice and solid. So I'm not going to worry about these. I'm not going to pop them. I'm not going to try to do anything special with them. I'm just going to let this dry. And it's going to be fine. So let's see. Okay, cool. So I think our little duckies are dry enough that we can do some sparkle work. I'm excited. So let's see, let's use Azalea first. So this is Sparkle. It's Sparkling Glaze and Paint Maker. And you mix it in either with clear glaze, or you can mix it in with your luster, or you can sprinkle it on top of your luster. You don't want to mix it in with paint though, because the paint is so heavy that the sparkle gets lost in it. I love glitter. My children, not so much. They don't love glitter as much as I do, but whatever. So I'm just going to use a little Dixie cup because I can't find my other little mixers. I'm going to pour in some sparkle. And really, it's kind of up to you. How much sparkle do you want? Do you want a little bit? Do you want a lot? Do you want to apply it several times? It's up to you. So I just have this little skewer. And I'm going to mix my sparkle together. So let me see. Can you see that? There's my sparkle mixed in with my luster. And I've got a brush that's better for detail. I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to, let's do it on here. We're going to paint it in just like that. But if you wanted to cover the whole thing, you could just mix it in with your luster and apply your luster as usual. And when it dries, you will only see this beautiful sparkle. I'm not quite sure how many colors there are. I want to say 20, but I could be wrong. But they're very, very pretty. And the amount of sparkle that you end up with just depends on how much you add to your luster or your glaze. Goodness. So, there is some luster there. I love it. I don't know about any of you, but I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for spring color. I'm ready for flowers. Easter, we always have fun at Easter. I do like Easter. It's fun. But that's actually how easy it is to use that sparkle. It's really not difficult at all. You just mix it in with your luster and go. And you could even probably layer different colors of that sparkle with different coats of luster. That would be fun. I might have to try that on something. But this is a very nice, very fine cut glitter. There. They're adorable. I love them. That's so cute. And then let's use some butterfly weed sparkle. Oh, thank you, Cindy. There's 24 sparkle colors. So, thank you. So again, we're just going to mix some luster into a little cup. I'm going to take our sparkle. It's a pretty orange with like a yellow gold shimmer. It's lovely. Love it. Like if I wanted to deepen some of these here with like this azalea, I could just do this. And it's going to stick to where that luster is wet. And I'll brush the rest off later. Here we go. right, let's put some over here. Let's make these little guys sparkles. Wouldn't this be cute in a glaze over like a little girl's dresser? Or even a big girl's dresser? Because let's face it, I'm definitely not a little kid and I love glitter. There we go. Once that dries, I'll be able to show you. But that's how easy it is to use that sparkle. You just mix it in with your luster and apply it. Easy peasy. So if you want to do a larger piece, and I'm just going to use it on this, and I just dropped my tissue. If you're going to do decoupage on a larger piece or on a larger piece of furniture, you can either apply that luster to the print itself, or sometimes it's easier to do it in sections and apply it to the surface of your piece. And apply it to the surface of your piece, then try to deal with a big wet surface, a big wet piece of paper, basically. So I'm gonna just put luster all over this. And I know I'm not doing it very nicely, but it self-levels as it dries, so no problem. And then I'm going to take my tissue, which I have spritzed. When you just spritz it a little bit with water, any of the paper, it's a lot easier to get it to take the glue and to not tear, not wrinkle. It can sometimes be a pain, but it's easier than going on dry, in my opinion. So, and when this is just tissue paper, like regular Christmas gift tissue paper that I'm putting on top of this. But it was a lot easier to put that luster on the piece first than to try to use it on that tissue paper and then try to put the tissue paper down, because it was going to be a big old mess. I know, been there, done that. So that's an easy way. If you're going to do a large section or a large piece of furniture, you might want to consider doing it in sections first, instead of trying to get an entire wet piece of paper onto a large section. Let's see. So this isn't quite dry yet, but it's dry enough. We will try this. So when I need to remove this, I sand it. Some people use sandpaper or sand block. I just always happen to have nail files on hand. And I just do this. And yes, I've done this on furniture as well with my emery board. And it's not quite dry, so I might end up ripping it. That's why you want to make sure that it is dry. Oopsie, it wasn't dry and I just tore it up there, but that's fine. And that would be a lot easier if it was completely dry, but it wasn't. So, but I still get some nice clean edges here. And that was pretty easy. And I didn't have to cut anything because I tend to cut wrong. If you're like me, you think that you're doing great and then you end up not. And there's no going back then. So, either sandpaper or a sanding block or a nail file if you happen to have one. All of my images I have just printed off at home. I have a color laser printer. You want to make sure that it's a laser printer. A lot of the inkjets, the ink is water soluble, so it's going to smear everywhere when you apply your luster. And that's not going to make anyone happy. But just regular printer paper. You can also, if you have images that you would like and you don't have a color laser printer, you can take it to like an Office Depot or Staples, Office Max, anywhere that, UPS, anywhere that does printing, you can do. And also, you can use the luster on metal. So that's a cute little cow that I put on this using the luster. And then I carefully sealed over the picture. So I didn't seal the whole thing. I just sealed the little cow here. And it's on there nice and tight. There's no bubbles. It's not coming off. It's stuck. And you can use this on wood as well. Pretty much any surface that you can decoupage using regular decoupage glue, you can use the lusters with. Hi! There's me again. So, I hope that has given you a little bit of insight on how to use the lusters for decoupage, and also has shown you that it's really not difficult at all. Don't be intimidated by it, because it is intimidating sometimes when you see all of these works and people are like, oh, I just decoupaged it on there, no problem. And then you try to decoupage and you're like, this is a disaster. What have I done? Been there, done that. The luster has made it so much easier, especially when I see that there's a bubble now. I don't panic, because once it dries, it's going to dry nice and tight. You're never going to know that bubble was there. Yay! Love that. And I think that's all that I have today. I think. I don't know. Pretty sure though. Any questions that you have, I'd be happy to answer in the comments once this is done. If you want to know the colors I used on the canvases, Victorian Violets, Blushing Cheeks, and Reblessed. All beautiful pastel spring colors that I love. So, I hope that you guys now have some ideas in your head going, and we get to see a lot more decoupage projects posted on our forum page. Thank you so much, and goodbye for now from Wichita, Kansas. Bye!